have a lightning fast lightweight
at
division
160,
as competitive as any other in the industry, and there appears to be a marquee match that a lot of people are asking for. Between Nick Diaz and KJ Noons, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're right.
There was a whole charade at the end of one of the fights where one of the guys, was it Diaz that came in at the end?
Yes.
And did a whole WCW 1997 storyline kind of thing. He didn't. The only thing he was missing was the NWO spray paint. Nothing ever materialized from that. When are we going to get the payoff to that angle? Are these two guys ever going to fight?
Yeah, well, first of all, about that, because everybody likes to say that was a WWE, WCW stunt, but the truth is, I wasn't at the fight. I happened to not be able to be there, but that was not a stunt. That is just bad blood. Like I was talking about Brett Rogers and Kimbo Slice, real bad blood. That's real bad blood between the Diaz family and the Noons family.
That sounds like a mafia war.
Hey, it sounds like a war between San Diego and Stockton, but EliteXC wants to host that war inside the cage.
Gotcha.
And KJ's our champion, and, he's done a great job so far.
Great fighter,
great kid, great personality, great look, and, the time has come for him to step up and take on his number one contender, and that's a rematch with Nick Diaz.
So is that going to happen?
Unfortunately, so far, it's not coming to fruition.
Wow, who's holding up this fight?
I don't really know, but I'm going to have to point my finger at Mark Dion, the manager, because
the manager
at the end
of who?
Of the day, the manager of KJ Noons. Because whether it is the manager himself acting in the wrong way or it is the fighter, it's up to the manager to get the fighter to think clearly, to get him to see the picture. And he's not doing his job.
So KJ doesn't want to fight Nick Diaz?
I'm not saying that. KJ hasn't come out and said that.
The manager is expressing that?
Well, the manager's saying that in different ways. He's not saying, I don't want to fight Nick Diaz. He's saying, Nick Diaz isn't your number one contender. So-and-so is your number one contender.
So who is he saying is the number one contender?
Saying Eddie Alvarez. And Eddie Alvarez is unavailable because
is Eddie Alvarez
he's recovering
a good fighter?
from Eddie Alvarez is a fantastic fighter. Eddie Alvarez fought in Japan in the Dream tournament, and he would have won the tournament, but it's in the final night, you have to win 2 fights. In the semis, he won the fight, but he injured his eye, and they wouldn't let him continue.
Oh.
So Joaquin Hansen, who he fought earlier and beat, ended up winning the title from Shinji Aoki. So
how does that make him your number one contender if all that happened
Well, exactly.
in Japan?
It doesn't. Eddie's only fought for us one time, and he is 1-0 in EliteXC. But I do count the fights outside the organization. I look at those because, a fighter still fights. You want to have the best fighters in the world fighting for your titles. But at the end of the day, Nick Diaz hasn't lost since he lost to KJ Noons.
So in your eyes, as the vice president of EliteXC, is Nick Diaz the number one contender?
Not in my eyes. In entire EliteXC's brass eyes.
So everybody thinks that.
He is.
He is.
Nick Diaz is the number one contender. KJ Noons will face him or will suffer consequences.
So what does that mean, will suffer consequences?
That's what it means.
Wow.
It means fight. Be the champion and fight. Fight the guys we put in front of you.
Is he scared?
Whether you fight Nick Diaz 20 times or you fight Eddie Alvarez once.
He should be lucky
whoever
you
is
put
the
him on
guy
the
who
show.
deserves the fight that we put in front of you, do your job as the champ.
Yeah. Don't be ducking people.
Yeah. And if you really feel that you don't want to fight Nick Diaz because there is no reason because you beat him, then beat him down even harder this time.
Yeah.
Make a real statement.
I'm with it. Yeah. We'd all like to see that. Hopefully he's paying attention because we want to see that fight. And by the way, KJ could give Nick a run for his money.
Hey,
that's a great fight.
If he is KJ, I like you a lot, guy. I like you a lot, and I think you got all the potential in the world. I just think you need to do what you set out to do as a world champion, and that's act like a world champion. Being a world champion isn't just winning a belt and calling yourself a world champion. It's the way you walk, and it's the way you talk, and it's the way you act. And to not take on challengers that deserve opportunities is a slap in the face to anyone who's ever been called a champion.
Wow.
And a slap in the face, in fact, to any mixed martial artist or combat or any athlete, for that matter, who's never finished, first, who's never had the opportunity to even get a chance to finish first.
Wow. Well said. I love you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're the man. Wow. I don't know what to say off that. We're going to talk about other aspects of your life. We're going to take a little bit of a break, but hopefully this gets cleared up.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, I'd love for them to fight. You know, honestly, the world deserves it. Mixed martial arts deserves it. They put on great fights. They're both great fighters.
The best part about you, and you know, people may say that. I mean, I've seen you ever since your debut here on TSM Radio. I've seen you now running around cheating on us with ESPN and all other news sources. But I will say this: people may call you outspoken. People may say that you're, you know, that you're a wild card, so to speak. I get that label a lot. But I'm going to tell you, you're good for the sport.
Thank you, buddy.
Because the sport is missing somebody of a figurehead role who has as much passion about the game as you do, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
But there is something that
that's why, by the way, I want you to follow your dreams and go to the WWE and write stories for them.
We'll be back to take a look at another side of Jared Scala.
Let's talk about how I kick Stu's ass in poker.
We'll be
back
right
after this.